told you. So Trump apparently is changing his Venezuela policy completely. So he had a lengthy call with Vladimir Putin the other day. After the phone call, he came out and said this. I'll read the direct quote for you guys. Putin is not looking at all to get involved in Venezuela, other than he'd like to see something positive happen for Venezuela. That was already hilarious. Now, look, at the same time, we're deeply involved in Venezuela. I disagree with that policy. And I actually think Trump is now headed in the right direction. But let's look at the timing of how that happened and why that happened. So Trump backing a coup of Guaido, clearly, of Maduro with Guaido, I should say. And they even said all options are on the table. They're threatening military action. Last week they try an effort. Bolton even talking publicly about the people who are going to defect on Maduro. And on the show, I was worried that he was going to get people killed. And in fact, 10 people have been arrested for treason, conspiracy, and rebellion. As usual, John Bolton with a bungled plan that could have started a disastrous war. We told you about that too. But I came out and did a video after the Putin call, and I said, look, guys, I told you that Trump literally takes his orders from Vladimir Putin. He has no idea what is or is not in Russia's interest. He is that colossally stupid and ignorant. So Putin has to call him every once in a while and say, hey, idiot, don't do that, do this. Now, when I said that, the Greenwalds and the Tracys and the et cetera are like, no, come on, you're crazy. Of course that's not true. That's conspiratorial, et cetera. Except he takes a call with Putin. He then turns around and says, Russia's not involved in Venezuela. That is a preposterous position and directly counter to what his government, Trump's government, was saying at that time. Pompeo said that Russia was directly involved. They talked, and so did Bolton. And they talked about how Maduro was going to get on a plane to Cuba until Russia got involved and talked him out of it. They were that specific. Trump then turns around and says, no, Russia didn't do anything. They have nothing but positive intentions. But wait, the update today, breaking news. Trump is now completely changing his policy. Now, when I said the phone call indicated that Trump is listening to Putin, what did I get back? I got back, oh, no, Cenk. But remember, he's doing things that are against Russia's interests in Venezuela, which, by the way, up until this moment, I conceded. I was like, well, he is. The Russians want Maduro to stay, so Trump is acting against the Russian interests. That's a very interesting and important data point for the other side that says he is not at all working, that Trump is not at all working with the Russians. But I said, if he does change policy, it would be monumental and very important data point to the contrary. And here we are. Now, it's not just saying positive things about Putin and Russia and saying preposterous things about how they're not involved. He has now actually changed the policy. Washington Post with a story that just came out a little while ago saying, yes, Trump now thinks that Bolton was too militaristic and was going to get him involved in a quagmire, and he is not in favor of a military option anymore. Now, look, I love that he's not in favor of a military option. I love that he's not listening to John Bolton. So those are very positive developments. But if you think that's not related to the call he just had with Putin, who told him what to do, well, come on. I mean, there's nothing I can tell you because I can give you all the evidence in the world, and you're never, ever going to listen because you're too biased. So I try to have a rational conversation where I tell you, look, these are the points in favor, these are the points against, right? But I told you ahead of time. I had it in all those discussions and all those debates with the folks who say that Trump and Russia have no relationship at all. Again, I find it preposterous, okay? But look, they had some interesting points about Ukraine and Venezuela, and I've been talking about that from day one. But now, and my thesis was, Trump doesn't understand anything, and he lets his team run the foreign policy because he's not remotely interested. He doesn't read past the page. So he's like, yeah, Pompeo, Bolton, go start any wars you like. What do I care? Maduro's a communist? Sure, I hate him. Whatever, do whatever you want. Now he turns around, and Washington Post, by the way, credulously reporting, he has come to realize that maybe, oh, right, he's against military quagmires. No, he's not. He says that out of one corner of his mouth. Another corner of the mouth, he talks about how we should do more, we should be tougher and engage in more military talk and put options on the table. In fact, let us be accurate. In 2017, Trump talked about bombing Venezuela and invading Venezuela. So if your thesis is that Trump is a peacenik at heart and he has these principles and these policies, first of all, stop. Stop embarrassing yourself. Trump has no policies, no principles. His only policy is what's good for Trump. So, all right, but even if I were to get beyond that, and you said, oh, Trump is an earnest guy who cares about peace. Again, preposterous. Okay, let's get beyond that. In this case, he specifically said that he was interested in bombing or invading Venezuela. Gets a call and he goes out and carries it out. They orchestrate a ridiculous, insane attempted coup against Maduro, which we told you was a bad idea. And it's John Bolton 101. Trump's not paying attention. He's like, yeah, sure, do whatever you want. We're going to be tough. We're going to be tough against the socialists, right? Gets a call from Putin, says Russia's wonderful, has positive intentions, and is not at all involved in Venezuela. And now, you said, but he didn't change policy. So, Cenk, you're wrong. He didn't change policy. Boom. Just changed policy. Told you. He directly takes orders from Vladimir Putin. You just saw it with your own eyes. I told you ahead of time. Then we saw it happening as it was happening. And now we've reached the conclusion of it, where our policy is now completely different after a call with Vladimir Putin. So the people who are using it as an example of, see, Trump doesn't listen to Russia. Oops. He gets a call from Russia, changes one of the policies you were so proud was part of your evidence that he doesn't listen to Russia, and now is adopted the policy that Putin and Russia are in favor of. Evidence, facts. I know they're inconvenient sometimes to folks, but that is the reality. Good night and good luck.